Oh man, that was my theme song. Yeah, how do you guys like the music, by the way? A fog machine, some neon lights. I like it. So One Million Cups is a community thrown on by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. It is an education event where two startups get up, speak about what they're doing for 6 minutes, and then we as the community get to ask questions and give them feedback. Beat them up with love to further their cause, further what they're doing. So we're excited. We have two phenomenal speakers today. Before we jump into those, a couple quick things. TCC has been phenomenal to let us use the space. It's an amazing space, amazing screen, everything. They have asked us, because they've been asked by their neighbors, to make sure you park in TCC lots only. So if you guys wouldn't mind, when you guys do park, make sure it's one of their lots. Fantastic. If you guys have been coming for a while, you guys will know that we're somewhat active on Twitter. Today we're doing something special. We are going to arbitrarily and judgmentally select the funniest or wittiest tweet that you guys have during the session today, and we will have a giveaway for you. It'll be a really great giveaway. It won't be a mug. So sometime today, throw out a tweet at 1MCTUL. And then also, if you guys have any questions, we don't have it in the announcement slides here, but if you guys have questions that you guys want to tweet about some of the speakers itself, you can tweet that at hashtag 1MCTULQ for questions. Cool. Okay, well, I'm super excited to bring up our first speaker. His name is Paul Conrady. He has a phenomenal startup that we're really excited about solving crime and the future of how we're going to do it. Paul?
So, make sure I'm on, where am I at here, Alex? There we go. Hey, thank you. I'm curious, how many people in here have ever been a victim of property crime? Raise your hands. Cars, houses, out of your garage, whatever. I mean, it's amazing. How many of you filed a police report? How many didn't? And maybe because you didn't reach your deductible on your insurance. A lot of times people don't for that very reason, and that's becoming, our deductibles now are $1,000. So there's a lot of things that can happen. We never get into that. So I want you to know I'm Paul Conrady. I used to own Edmund Security for 32 years in Edmond, and I've been chasing this guy. I've been chasing this guy for 32 years, and now we've got even better tools to chase him. It's called video. The video systems are coming down in price so much that it's affordable, and we got so many different ways to share it. We're going to be using this in the future of crime fighting. We're already using it on Facebook and Twitter, the social media networks. It's kind of target notification with a shotgun. My aunt in Wisconsin could care less what happened at my next door neighbor's house. So when you put it out on Facebook, and if you're you all know the limitations of Facebook, and you have to push it and you have to boost it, and so anyway, some of the problems with it. Who's heard of Nextdoor? Who may be a member of Nextdoor? So that's Facebook with the fence. Now you're stuck in your neighborhood, and it's a little more difficult to get outside your neighborhood, not impossible, but every time you extend that boundary, it's more difficult to talk to the original author. So what if there was a crime-solving social network, and everything that you participated with, everything that you put on that network ended up in a database to help future crime solving? So now we have an interactive database for crime solving. It's free for all to use, and it's sponsored by the local security experts. The glass shops, the lock shops, the alarm companies, they're all getting together and starting to share notes and refer people to each other so that they can all be on crime scene and we can all work towards the same goal. And that's catching the bad guys. So on crime scene, when you're on the site, on the left ad display, that's where we get our advertisement dollars. That top banner is a map. It's a map that has the dealers, the security dealers on it, and when you click on it, you're looking at local security dealers in each of their respective industries. So how do we want to get going on crime scene? You sign up, obviously, with your email address so that we can notify you. But more importantly, we want to define your location that you're going to operate in. Houston's a big town. Do I want to watch the evening news and see everything that happens in Houston thinking I'm going to be of help? Maybe not. But what if I were to define my house and a patrol radius around it of 10 miles? And then my work and a patrol radius of 5 miles? Maybe my mom's house, because that's where I grew up and I know a lot of people there. Maybe a radius of 5 miles. But I also have a place out at the lake, and it's sparsely populated. I may want to have a 20-mile radius out there. So now, as I'm operating in all of Houston, I'm actually operating in the 10% of Houston that I have some background in. So that's the only place I want to receive a report. If somebody files a report and it falls outside of the patrol radius, I don't care. I'm not going to get notified. But if it falls inside my patrol radius, I get an email notification. That email notification looks like this. I've got a distance to the event. I've got a first snapshot that's on the report, something compelling that makes me want to click the link. I take that link and I end up on the site. So here I'm reviewing the report. I see the person of interest, the vehicle of interest, the video if there's a video involved. To the right-hand side, that's the address and the contact information, some of the details to get hold of the author. The printable poster I'll come back to in a minute, but there's a tab on there for printable poster. And the event details, this is the database. The caption under the pictures and the event details are all able to be searched to connect crimes together. A location, that's the map of where the event happened, the Google map, and most important, the comments, the tips. This is where when you fill that out, it goes directly back to the author that filed the report, and now they've got information. So the posters we talked about a second ago, if you'll notice, those are two unusual items. They didn't have any pictures of the culprit. They didn't have any video of the culprit. They had no video evidence at all. So they posted what was stolen. If you saw a pecan picker-upper and a toolbox in the back of a truck, maybe you would remember that. Because those are some unusual items to be together in the back of a truck. Lost dog. Here we got a high-res picture. This person was identified. If you get a notification, you're going to be able to click on that poster. And if you're a business, put that up at the water cooler in your office. Because these events happened in your neighborhood. If an employee walks by and says, hey, I may know that guy, scan the QR code. You're now on this event on crime scene, and we hope you'll sign up while you're there. So the search feature. There's a search feature in that first bar. If you were to type the serial number of a Rolex watch in there that was reported stolen, you can type the search in there, or if you've got other parameters, a white 4-door pickup, a zip code, a miles of radius, you can do a search on that data we talked about by filling out those items. And here's our search results. In that report, there's the watch. Is the guy standing at the pawn shop the same day that this happened? He's at the pawn shop trying to sell that watch. The pawnbroker types in the serial number. This is what pops up in front of that pawnbroker. Is the guy still wearing his fake ball cap? Does he have a skull t-shirt on? Has he got a red Grand Am parked in front of the pawn shop? This may be the guy that stole that watch. So yeah, make a deal with him while you're in the back starting the paperwork. Call the police department. Bottom line is, we're not your daddy's neighborhood watch. Okay? We're not beware, burglar beware, or we got cameras. We actually have cameras, and we have a program, we have a concept, we have a platform for all of us to crowdsource our security assets, work together, share the information instantly, and make a difference. So we got signs that you can see behind me. We got a blog. How many people have heard of a drop cam? How many people have heard of all the new technology? The Kuna is getting ready to come out. That has video analytics built into it, but I think it's got some other limitations they're not being public about. Here's all kinds of devices coming out, and since I made this slide 3 days ago, I got notified of 2 more devices that are in this world. So they're going to be coming at us like crazy. Bottom line is, if this guy shows up at your back door and you got a picture of him and you're concerned as a family, we want to catch that guy. First thing you're going to do is call the police. File a report that he was at your back door. File a report on crime scene. Share that link on all of the social media outlets that you have. Share the link so that that brings them back to crime scene so that we can bring all that information under one platform. And hopefully it turns into an arrest. The faster it turns into arrest, if we catch that guy twice as quick, we've just eliminated 50% of the crime stats. So it's a matter of speed and catching these guys as quickly as we can. Our mission statement: crime scene strives to connect security industry leaders, the concerned citizens, and law enforcement to a platform utilizing today's technology, social media, and the power of the internet to make our community safer. That's what crime scene is. Thank you.
All right, this is our opportunity as a
Yeah, I know. I've seen this
ask
grill before.
questions. So just put your hand up and flag one of us.
All right, we've got a question here in the back. I do want to remind you that we are taking questions via Twitter today. It is hashtag 1MCTollQ. And here's our question in the back.
Good morning. It may have been on your display that went by of the different devices, but the thing I see advertised on TV, the doorbell thing, was that on there, or if not, do you have any feelings about that?
Well, yeah, and I'm glad you brought, I'm going to start this. If you all don't learn anything else today, if somebody knocks at your front door in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, you're a woman, you're your kids, you're home alone, and there's a knock on the door, what do?
Look through the little pipe people.
I'm not hearing anything. What do?
Look out the window.
Get your gun. Okay, well that's what everybody says, but what no one says is they acknowledge the door. How many times we see on TV the people say, the police say, that kid did all the right things by crawling under the bed. Immediately when that door is knocked on, go to the door, and as you approach it, honey, I'll get it. Daddy, I'll get the door, you get the dogs. Or the best one is, honey, put that gun down, I'll get the door. And you never open the door, but you talk through it, because honey and the kids, the dog, the gun, everybody's in the house, and that's all that person wants to know. They're going to make up a reason for staying on your porch, and they're going to leave. But you cannot say, I do not answer the door. You told them the house is empty, the next thing you're going to hear is the back door being kicked open. So if you don't learn anything else today, understand that and teach our families that. Yes?
All right, we have 2 questions here.
The Skybell and the Doorbot both have issues. Before you buy any of these products, watch the forums, okay? But they're great, because your phone rings when the doorbell rings. Sir?
Awesome presentation, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've got lots of questions, but I guess I'll just ask one. Who writes the event details? I saw a nice looking description of the event, but who's actually writing that?
What was stolen out of your home? Just write that down. You're online, you're filling it out. As a crime scene member, you're filing the report. Guys, it's this simple. Our law enforcement agencies are overwhelmed. They don't pursue property crime because they don't have the resources to. It's that simple. The insurance company, they don't have investigators to pursue property crime. So they just keep writing checks. And because they keep writing checks, our deductibles continue to go up, as well as our policy premiums. So it's a matter of us, we the people, getting involved and assisting law enforcement, giving them these details as quickly as we can.
All right, another question here.
I think you just answered one of my questions about sharing with law enforcement. It is shared with them.
Yes, well, obviously law enforcement could be on here, and if I was an investigator in Tulsa, I could say, hey, I want to see everything that happens in Tulsa. I at least have something to review. And a lot of these have, if Tulsa posts it, it's going to go right back to them as being the author. So they can use it at whatever level they want to.
And the second question is, do you guys have current users in Tulsa now?
I'm sorry?
Current users in Tulsa County right now?
We're just getting started here. I met with the company Witness Security and the Tulsa Doorman. Because of what's going on in the Midtown Alert Neighborhood Association, that kind of is what got me here. And in fact, I think the incubator, Benjamin's going to throw up a drop cam. There's something we didn't get to talk about on here. If something happens to you, you can go on Crime Scene, look for cameras near you, drill down into a Google map, and you can see who's enrolled their camera to see public space in Tulsa. And if your boat went by someone's house and it may be captured on their video system, as a member of Crime Scene, you can contact them, tell them the details, and if they can get a picture of what was pulling your boat, they can literally send you a picture back of what was pulling your boat past their camera. So I encourage you all to visit Crime Scene and look at cameras near you. It's called One for the Road.
We do have a question from Twitter. The question is, do you worry that this will enable vigilante justice or violence?
Well, you know, on Facebook, there's a lot of postings on Facebook and Twitter already, and I've not heard of that going on. Obviously, if somebody tells me, hey, I know Joe stole your stuff, he didn't have to do it on crime scene. I mean, crime scene's a tool, so we obviously do not condone vigilante justice. We want everything to go through the police department, as I think you all do.
All right, we have another question here in the front.
Do you have like a filtering system to make sure that all of the crimes that are submitted are legitimate and not just like some newly divorced couple that are arguing about who owns what?
Well, again, just like on Facebook, you can post anything you want on Facebook and understand you're saying that a crime was committed and the police are involved at some level, or always can be. We would be forwarding things to them as well. But anything that is a public forum, you can say anything on a public forum on any platform, not just crime scene. But it's always a concern, it definitely is. So nothing's happened as at this point.
Okay, question in the back.
Everything sounds interesting and stuff, but I mean, I like the presentation, but what's your revenue model? How are you gonna make a living doing this?
Well, as I pointed out, the advertisements that were on the page, the video companies are really interested because they see video sales out of this. Imagine when you're on the site reviewing that guy peering in the back door of a house. Well, he's peering in the back door of my neighbor's house. That's why I got that notification. And on the left side of him peering in are the video companies that offer their services. So to click on that video company is what we're hoping to drive people. And that's just one deal. There are glass companies, fence shops, lock shops, the insurance industry. We're talking to a national company right now that they want all of their agents to show goodwill to their customers to support crime scene locally. Just one national company would get me started in a big way. So,
Okay, we have a question here in the back.
I was wondering, is there a chance that maybe criminals could sort of use your site to recognize vulnerable, like some guy gets some antique collector guns stolen from his house and the criminal says, oh, that guy at that address collects antique expensive guns or something, you know, and kind of, I mean, is that a vulnerability or something?
well, all of that is public record already. I mean, when you see a newscast that all the guns were stolen out of a guy's house, that's broadcast. I mean, all of that is public record. What I hope that they do is look at the cameras in your area on One for the Road, and they see 100 cameras in your neighborhood. How are they going to get to that house and get back out without being recorded? It's the crowdsourcing of our security assets where the neighborhood doesn't have to put them in. But if I put in a video system and I'm already looking at my front porch and I can also see the street, why wouldn't I come to the aid of all of my neighbors by sharing that information that I've got recorded? If you notice, a lot of the police departments are going around knocking on doors of people that have video systems, asking them to voluntarily register at the police department. But again, none of that's going to be public. Okay, the police have that information and the police can secure those details, but they're never, I mean, the police department today, they don't have a way to share that except for the news media or their Facebook page. So we're just trying to make it public access.
All right, we have a question in the back.
I love what you said about the insurance companies. I was going to ask you about that, like what you're trying to do with them, because one of the things you could do potentially, if they see the value in it, is getting other people to use it by lowering rates.
That's what started the conversation, and when they saw, when the insurance, the largest one in the world that I'm talking to, when they saw what we were doing, they said, you know, we have no method of recovering stolen items at this point. They just have no process to do it. And so when we started talking, first question, I came out of the alarm industry, we had a 10% discount minimum for a monitored security system. You know how long it's been since an alarm activation resulted in a capture? You know how many the last 18 months at Edmund Security, I apprehended, our video systems led to the apprehension of 28 people in my last 18 months. not one apprehension in the last 5 years was caused by an alarm condition. How many of us have heard of false alarms? And people simply don't respond to it anymore. So,
Well, also on that, just to get users to use it more, have you looked at some kind of reward system, not necessarily monetary, but kind of like a gaming system, where the more things that they do that are accurate, they get more points, which builds to something that they could possibly exchange for, you know, an alarm system or...
that's on the table. We're looking at ways to initiate that. You know, my first deal is I got to find the people that are already involved with crime to tell their customer they need to be involved with crime scenes. So what if, and this is what's happening in Oklahoma City right now, I've got an alarm company owned by a woman. She's already contacted a lock shop, a glass shop, a fence company, an insurance company. They're all women driven. They're all owned by women. We're putting up a deal of the guys against the gals. So we're gonna calling them second responders. I don't know what her team name will be, but her team of women, of second responders, they're gonna have their team operating against the guys, and we're gonna create that game. Who has the most identified perpetrators at the end of a year, and then I will reward them by second year of no charge advertising. So that's how we're going to kick off, and I'm talking to some guys in Tulsa. I haven't found any girls in Tulsa, and if anybody in here knows any women that have any of those businesses I just mentioned, I need to know who those women are. Or they don't have to be the owner, but a lot of times it's the office that drives all this, because they're on Facebook during the day. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, we have a question here in the front.
Yes.
Hi, yeah, great presentation. I wanted to ask a couple of questions. Forgive me if you've already said this, but what sort of overall statistics have you seen as far as crime solving rates? And then two, what features are you looking forward to adding to the website?
Man, I got a list of features. What I need is resources to get those features developed. You know, we're brand new. When I say we're brand new, I've not marketed this to the public yet. I use this at my company to market Edmund Security, and I was so successful that I was sought after and purchased. So, because I built my video business, just exploded. Now that I have a non-compete, I can't be in that world to help the next alarm company in Oklahoma. I would have to go to Dallas, which I'm talking to some people in Dallas. But as far as when you go on the site, we have solved crimes you can look at. We've had crimes solved because they posted that poster. That's happened a couple of times where a poster was in a restaurant. We have one on there, one for the road camera. It says one for the road saves the day. One of the drop cams, a 720 drop cam, captured the entire theft. And 3 hours after that was posted on crime scene, the stolen Mini Cooper was pulled over 20 miles away. And all of the stuff was still in the car. There was no insurance filed because all of the belongings, 10 laptops and 2 flat screens, were still in the car. So if we all go to work like that, if our neighbors broke into, we give them the video, we post it on crime scene, and we can pull the car over in 3 hours and all the stuff's still in there. What if we did that every time? The information's out there. We just have to put it all together. So, anyway. I hope I answered your question. Okay.
All right, we have a question here.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of reactive response, but how about proactive? Besides putting a few signs out, how can this system keep people from getting broken into in the first place? Because that, as a homeowner, as a neighborhood association, I'm going to be more interested in wanting to know how to protect my neighborhood from having these problems in the first place.
Well, what happened in Lake Ridge Run, they had a break-in about 3 months ago. The neighborhood association came together, and somebody there knew of crime scene. They had me come and speak. I told them about the drop cam. It's a $200 camera. It's $100 a year to record in the cloud. If you have a street light in front of your house, it takes beautiful video at night. If there's no light provided, then you don't have a nighttime picture. It's not an exterior camera. It has to be put inside the house or in a kind of a rinky-dink enclosure outside, but it still has temperature issues, so it still has limitations. But it's such an entry-level, high-res camera. It's a 1080p camera. It's got a beautiful image. And if you put that in your front window, looking at where it can see anyone approaching your door, and it sees the street beyond your front yard. And if you watch that video, you'll see that we could see that Mini Cooper across the street, through the front yard, between two houses, through the backyard, in the vacant field behind the house. You could see the Mini Cooper drive by, and they actually broke into the back door of that house while a guy was working on his truck right across the street at noon on a Wednesday. So to be proactive is to put those cameras up and roll them on crime scene, make your neighbors aware that crime scene exists, ask them to join you, because when an event happens, you have to instantly get that information out there. That's how you're effective. If you wait a day, it's like the show 24, what happens in the first 24 hours really is detrimental as to how that's solved, or how they get leads on it. So to be proactive is to get the cameras up and at least be recording what's going on in your neighborhood.
Well, I guess I'm wondering how do you keep them from coming into your neighborhood? How can you create a deterrent?
Imagine when we solved that crime with the Mini Cooper, we were on the news that night and they talked about crime scene. So imagine they come into your apartment complex, they come into your neighborhood, and it says, digitally patrolled by crimescene.com. That means there's cameras all over our neighborhood. Don't come in here and do stupid things, because we're going to record it and then we're going to pursue you. So as far as being proactive, this is about as proactive as I can think about being, and because of the news articles that we're getting and the support from the community, that's going to be proactive. If there's something else I'm missing that you can help me with, I'm all ears. I don't know everything. So this is as proactive as I know to be. And it's a matter of getting people together and being involved. The police simply can't do it. They want to, they just can't.
All right, our final question is, what can 1 million Cups as a community do for you today?
Well, I heard don't say sign up, so I won't say sign up. I'll assume, well, you did that already. But you have to provide content. You have to provide content where we don't know that you had a problem. We don't know that we had a problem in our neighborhood. So if you're a victim of crime, if you walk out and your car window's knocked out, whip out your phone, take a picture, post a report on crime scene, tell us where it happened, tell us what was stolen, help us create this database. As leads come together, you know these guys, they drive around and the same people do the same thing until they get caught. That's why they call it an MO, because that method of operation is how they link all these things together. So being involved is what I need, and I already mentioned putting the teams together of security experts. If you guys know teams that we can put together, I would be looking for those guys as well, and gals.
All right, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.